Yay. Hey, I just want to say something here. Miracles do happen because we're actually on time.
We were on time last time.
Okay, well, miracles can happen twice then. It's amazing, really.
Maybe it's just the way it's going to be. Imagine that.
Maybe it's because Ava let some stuff go last week that's impacting her behaviors. Yeah. So as you can tell, if anyone's on, you can see that I've got my blanket on. A little chilly today. It's a damp chilly today.
Yeah.
So I want it to be warmed up. So I've got my little blanket on, drinking my coffee. Is it working, Kev? Oh my God, it's working. There you go, dear. It's a little delayed. Oh yeah, it is delayed. Wow.
So we're doing a test.
Maybe it'll catch up.
No, it won't.
Oh, it won't. So
No,
it will be delayed.
It's doing a test.
Oh, okay.
So this is similar to our kids complaining about internet speed in Chance Harbor, New Brunswick. When we had satellite internet. What was it called back then? It's still around, but ExploreNet or something.
ExploreNet. Yeah, I think it was called ExploreNet.
And they're like, it's taking too long. I'm like, you kids. Like, let's put this in perspective. The signal is going from your computer when you press enter to...
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Lori.
Morning, Lori.
So you press enter, and the signal now goes from your computer to the router through a wire to the satellite dish to friggin' outer space, back down to planet Earth, through the internet to find what you think you want to see, right? Then back up to outer space, back down to planet Earth, through the wire again, and then to your computer. And you're concerned that that's taking like 3 minutes?
Wow. We're spoiled.
There we go. See,
we're spoiled.
So our live stream on our website is actually working.
Yeah, Kevin's very proud of himself right now.
I'm very happy right now. So
good job.
We now know that. So this was the test this morning.
Yeah.
To see in the setup and all that stuff in the back end, how to do it. So
yeah.
It is there. We are live on kevinandava.com and click on the coffee time. Yes. So for that, I will cheers for sure. Salute.
Wait.
What?
Good morning, humanity. Salute. So Lori, you are the first one on today, and you deserve an award. Like seriously,
that's right.
You're.
I hope you got coffee with you.
You better have a coffee in your hand. Something. So Lori is from Leduc County, Alberta. Yay! Anybody else who's around, we'd like to know where you're from. Seriously, I want to know where you're from. So put it in the comments so we can.
Oh yeah.
So we
dial up for sure.
Yeah, dial up. Oh my God! But even where we are right now, Lori, we only use our cell phones. We don't have
hotspot off our phone.
Yeah, like this is what we're using, right? So
yeah,
yay! Fresh coffee in hand. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we've used since we've lived on this property. 2.5 years, just cell phones. That's it.
Well, they're putting fiber on the road right now.
Apparently, yeah.
But
yeah,
who knows?
we won't be here anyway, so it won't matter.
We won't be around.
We're leaving soon.
Yeah.
We're pretty packed up. Ready to go on another adventure.
That's right. It's an adventure, Harry.
Yeah. So as you can see from our title, a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? That's a great little quote. And also in the description, if anyone even reads that, but Saskatoon or Saskatchewan Beach.
Oh, winter storm. Love it.
No, you can have it, Lois. You can have it.
You know what's really strange here? Thunder Bay is like there's something weird going on.
Yeah.
Something weird going on. Because it's still 10 degrees out there and it's been raining here since 3:00 this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pouring.
We just had that on
did we?
5 times now.
Oh,
That's the
Kevin, it
5th
wasn't
time.
5 times.
It was.
Okay,
Trust me.
but Lois is up there. We got to share Lois's
Okay. All
comment.
right. Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
guys. We're trying to manage this and talk and read the comments and drink our coffee. Like we're multitasking here.
Apparently.
But yeah, our kids that are in Alberta, yesterday it was like, oh my gosh, it was such a bad storm. It really didn't look like there was that much snow on the ground. But my son was complaining because I had to drive 70 kilometers on the highway. And it still was bad, even in 4-wheel drive. And I'm thinking, well, then just slow the hell down. You don't have to drive fast all the time. And he's got a heavy foot, that boy. Holy. But it's like, guys, it's winter in Canada. What do you expect? What do you expect? Well, we certainly don't expect rainstorms at the end of November in northwestern Ontario, but that's what we're getting. It's been 10 degrees?
Well, sometimes it'll dip down to like 0 and it will
Barely.
have a heavy frost, but then it's right back up because it's a nice sunny day.
Oh, beautiful. Like I could go out, honestly, at 1:00 in the afternoon and probably get a little bit of a sunburn if I really wanted to.
Here, like we're down below the cliffs. So when you stand outside, you can hear the jet engine on the top of the cliff with all the wind that's ripping the trees at that level.
Yeah.
So it's windy here, but it's not as windy as it is on the top.
Right.
Yeah. But it's weird. Like, I wonder how the weather would be. Remember when we just used to have what we called weather? Remember that? Back in the good old days when it was just, what's the weather doing? I don't know.
Whatever you see outside.
Today, it's like, what's the manipulation doing? I wonder, right? Because this will lead us into what we wanted to chat about.
This is the season part. This could be part of the season part of our title.
But we're not sure of that. Lois, I was really thinking that we were going to wake up to Christmas, but I kept hearing the rain on the steel roof.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I knew it's got to be well above 0. So certainly 10 degrees.
See, I wear earplugs to bed, so I don't hear all the rain on the steel roof. So it's nice. Yeah.
But the thing is that it's,
I heard lots of rain when we lived on Denny Island in the central coast of BC, which is a rainforest, and it rains a lot.
Yeah. But I wonder, like back when we used to have weather, and I just wonder how the weather would be right now if these yahoos, and we know what I mean by yahoos, hadn't been
manipulating it,
geoengineering the shit.
I know.
Out of it.
Like we don't even know what weather is because
we don't know what it is anymore.
No, because it's been manipulated for decades.
Because I remember years ago, like in 1987, I joined the Army here. And of course, Remembrance Day is a big deal, right? And back in the late 80s, early 90s, we used to actually send a bunch of guys up to Marathon because we had a section up there, and we used to parade up there. There were so many times when we actually got turned around because the road was closed.
Right.
Or it would be you're parading in kilts at -20, and that's just the way it was.
And you didn't wear like long underwear underneath it?
No, below.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's 12 yards of wool, dear, wrapped around your waist. Quite warm.
I would love to see you in a kilt. You should have got married. We should have got married with you in the kilt.
No,
that would have been
another
sexy.
Animal altogether.
That would have been so sexy. Will you do that for me someday?
Well, I got to go get the done tartan, and
yeah,
we actually have to go and do that.
Okay, well, let's put it on the list. It's got to be
official.
Okay, well, let's put it on the list that we got to get Kevin a kilt so that I can be all excited about it. That's terrible. I shouldn't talk like that, should I? This is a PG program.
Is it? But anyway, so yeah, we used to get turned away on the highway because it was friggin' cold and there was lots of snow.
Yeah.
And now it's rain jackets.
Yeah. But it's climate change. This is the proof that it's climate change.
But this is the point, right?
Well, it is climate change, but it's manipulated.
It is, but we know that
change.
this is happening on a galactic scale. Like, there's cycles of all of this stuff, and that's just that they have chosen to assist it in a way, and then blame it on us.
Like recently, the first week in November, I don't remember which day, but one of my friends back in New Brunswick had posted that there were twisters, which is the same as cyclones, isn't it?
No, it's more like a hurricane kind of thing.
No, it was a twister though.
A twister is a smaller scale version of a
tornado.
Cyclone
Tornado.
is like ocean size.
Yeah.
Like
So
it's
this
huge.
was tornadoes. Okay. So there were three touchdowns of tornadoes on the same day in New Brunswick, but in totally different locations in New Brunswick. Okay. And then someone found some sort of documentation where they were testing. They said they had gotten the information they needed, the results they needed,
the data they needed
to when they were like basically testing tornadoes in that area. It was just like, you don't get any more obvious than that. Like, hello, tornadoes in New Brunswick to begin with. We had one when I remember when my kids were young, and I remember watching it form. Like we were down, it was in the summer, it was July. We were downtown for the big town event. And I remember looking up and seeing this green little thing like this up in the sky though.
This
it was
weird
just
jade green.
Little jade green thing up in the sky, like this little tiny cloud up there. No attachment to the ground or anything at that point. It was just this little tiny. And I remember looking up and going, what is that green cloud up in the air? Like, that is weird. What is that? Next thing you know, we had this little tornado go through our area and it wreaked havoc. I mean, it didn't do the whole like, Wizard of Oz thing where it lifted up the house and
we're not in Canada anymore.
Yeah.
We're not in Carleton County anymore.
But I mean, these things don't typically happen. And I know they like to blame it on climate change, but climate change is real because it's being created.
Good
right?
morning, Marianne. Thanks for jumping
It's by design. It's by design. Was it like an orb? I don't know. At the time, I mean, an orb? I don't know. I wasn't into that stuff back then as much. It was just this green, I don't know, green cloud that was like longer and not wide and puffy. It was just this little green tiny cloud in the sky. It was weird. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, fun times. So back when we used to have weather.
Back when we used to just have weather. And I mean, yesterday, another friend of mine in the States, she was talking about how oh my God, this B-level cyclone is going to hit wherever. And they were calling it a bomb cyclone or something. Like, what the hell? Even that's what she was saying. Like, can we just get back to things just being about the weather? Like, why does it have to be this constant fear, like mongering propaganda of like the weather? It's like they have nothing else to talk about. Well, they got to make shit up.
Yeah. Right? So you're very right, Marianne. That kind of garbage has been going on for a long time because we know that it's been stated very clearly by U.S. president that he who controls the weather controls the world. So lo and behold, those that are control freaks would want to engage in research to do that. So,
well, they weaponized it.
Well, one last weather story.
Oh, one last one.
Yeah,
okay,
that's enough of this.
Okay.
Because we got to get on to more important things.
Well, the weather's pretty damn important, though.
Yeah, but
it can cause a lot of destruction. It really can.
No, I'm not saying that it can't.
Yeah.
The problem is it's being manipulated to do that.
Yeah, we know that. Anybody on here, they already know that. Right. For sure.
So we were sitting
smart people.
We were sitting at a cafe, believe it or not, us in a cafe. You might be shocked about that.
I think we told the story.
Well, we'll tell it again.
All right. Here we go.
This was in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Repeating our stories now.
Up near Costco. There's a second cup there. I believe it was Costco. Yeah, somewhere in there.
True, Marianne.
No. Yeah, close by. Close by, just down from Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And they're of course, they have comfy seats. So it was a second cup, and we're sitting there. And of course, what we do, start chatting with people, right?
That's what we do.
That's what we do. So we're chatting with this young guy. I don't know, he must be late 20s.
30-ish.
Maybe. Turns out he's a meteorologist. And he's moving to Nova Scotia. And we're like, well, where are you coming from? Well, I was in Alberta, near Calgary. And okay, well, what were you doing there? Well, I was working for insurance companies. I said, my first question is, why does an insurance company need a meteorologist?
Yeah, we were both sort of like meteorologists working for an insurance company. That's interesting. Okay.
And then he proceeded to tell us that what he would do is monitor the storms as they would approach the larger populated areas to see whether or not there was going to be a chance of hail. And if there was, he would give the order for the pilots to go up and seed the clouds so that the storm would drop its payload in.
Wait. I have my
tinfoil
hat on because this is all just conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, all just conspiracy theory stuff, you guys.
So that the storm would drop its payload of hail in the fields and reduce insurance claims.
I can't imagine why insurance companies would want to reduce insurance claims after people pay for 40 years, 50 years for their insurance. Yeah.
And then you have to ask yourself the question, how is it that Canada had, I believe it's been repealed, but it's probably been rolled into some other act.
Oh, definitely.
In order to sort of hide it.
What? The government doesn't hide shit.
Don't do that. That will never happen
Just
here.
Wait, I have to adjust my hat. Okay.
Next time I'm wearing one just for fun.
Now we can carry on with the conversation. All right.
Why did Canada have specifically called the Weather Modification Act?
No.
Look it up. I've seen it. So the question really becomes, because you know what? There are solutions to all of this. There are solutions to this.
See, look, Marianne's joining us in the hat wearing.
I love it. I love it. We need
anybody from now on. I think we need, I don't know if you guys can do this, but share a picture of you wearing your tinfoil hat. That would be interesting. I don't know if pictures would show up in the comments on this show live, but try it. Seriously, I'm not joking. Try it. I'm totally game. Yeah, totally.
So maybe next time you know what? I just might wear one out. Next time we go to town, I'm gonna put a freaking tinfoil hat on. What the hell?
Wear it at your parents'
Wear
place.
it through Superstore and
wear it with your parents.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
At least my brain will be protected from EMFs.
I think your parents have gotten more used to us. Like your mother,
being bold.
I'm sorry, Eleanor, if you're watching. Don't be embarrassed that we're sharing a story about you, but we have to tell it because we were at dinner with them the other night, and she asked this question that was like, oh, as soon as she asked it, I was like, oh, Eleanor, why did you ask that question? You know Kevin is going to go on a tear. Oh,
see, when doors open, I like to walk through them, right? Especially when people are like, you know, I love it.
What did she ask? She goes, so, what was the question? It was about government. She said, well, Kevin, what do you think? What do you think we should?
No.
What was the question?
No, she asked because we said we're doing this presentation tomorrow night. Right?
Yeah, we're doing this presentation.
And you know, we'll have questions and answers and things like that and whatever.
Yeah.
And
we're talking about the next steps for humanity.
Next steps, like what do we do?
What's next?
What can we actually do? Right?
Yeah, what's next?
Anyway, I think the question was like, if someone asked you what your opinion of the government is, what would you say? And I'm like, well,
she meant if they asked that at the event,
right?
But she wasn't realizing that when she asked that question that Kevin would take the opportunity to just practice what his response would be with his parents. Oh dear.
You know what?
I knew right away. I was thinking, oh shit, Eleanor.
And you know what's funny is she didn't kick me under the table like she would normally have done.
I didn't because normally I have to gauge other people's. Like Kevin's unfortunately doesn't pay much attention to how other people are responding to him when he's going on these tears, and so I'll have to
nudge.
I never go on a tear. I'll have to nudge him or give him a little kick or put my hand on his leg. Away
so I can't feel it anymore.
Yeah, he does that. He's such a freak. But I'll be like, no, okay. I'll just be like, give him a little squeeze on the leg or a little kick in the foot. And it's like, no, let's not go there. Right. Yeah. Well, one of us has to be empathic here, like jeepers creepers.
No, but my perspective on this is if you don't want the answer, don't ask the friggin' question. Right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because if you want the answer,
hi, Krista.
If you want the answer that I'm going to give you,
yeah,
then ask the question. If you don't want it, then don't answer. Don't ask it.
That's right. Yeah.
So anyway, so I expressed myself, shall I say?
He totally expressed himself. He barfed all over the table is
No, I
what he
did
did.
not.
You did so.
No, we were still able to eat. Never mind.
It was after eating.
Was it?
Yes, it was. It
Oh.
was at the end of the dinner. That's why I was like, oh, Eleanor, we're
thing.
gonna be here for another 20 minutes
You're
with
not.
Kevin on a tear.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
So anyway, so we had some fun there.
Yeah.
But
That's right. No, that's very true, Marianne. That's what we say. The truth hurts. And what does this remind us of? Let's do it. The movie reference about handling the truth. You can't handle the truth. Okay. Put in the comments if you know what movie it's from.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I'll give you a hint. Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
There's a bunch of good quotes there, but
Oh yeah.
so anyway.
Yeah.
So I've got my thoughts.
You do
on
have your
that.
thoughts.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this leads us into the idea that a lot of us out there, and I know a lot of us that are no.
Close, but no cigar.
There it is.
Lewis.
Marianne wins the prize. Woo!
And one.
You can double layer your tinfoil hat.
Yes, you got it, Marianne. A Few Good Men. And actually, it was a really good movie. It was for back in the day, you know.
But the thing is that I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this right now or going to watch this are pretty clear on what they don't want.
Yeah, we don't have to keep hammering like what's bad in the world, what's wrong in the world, because you know, if we wanted to, based on just what I saw quickly on Facebook before we even got on here this morning, was that apparently the Ukraine was given permission by the UN idiots like Trudeau and Macron, whatever the hell they're called, these idiots,
to send bombs to Russia.
But not just bombs. US supplied bombs to Russia.
Like figure this shit out, folks.
Is this logical?
Right? Like they're trying to wreck the house on the way out because they know they're done. They know they're done. Yeah. I believe they know they're done.
Of course they know they're done. Yeah. We've been saying this in talks the last 4 years. We've been saying this like when we were doing all the freedom rallies and having people over for talks and when we did public presentations.
Yeah, macaroni.
Exactly. Like we said the whole time, they're wrecking the house on the way out. This is what they're doing, ramping things. Desperate.
It's like a wild animal that's been pushed into a corner.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the thing, is they're wrecking the house on the way out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, there are solutions for us.
Yeah.
Right? We have solutions. And the biggest one is to ask ourselves, what do we want instead? If you were to think 5, 10, 15 years from now, how do we want that to be?
Yeah.
So when we put and invest our energy into what we want that to be, and we feel it as though we are there right now. Okay,
just going to do a little interruption here. This is going to be a Kevin teaching moment. So just wanted to give you guys the heads up. And Lois is going to decorate her tree.
Excellent.
Holy, that's early for a Christmas tree. My
goodness. But Halloween's over, so Christmas is on.
Yeah, Black Friday is this Friday, guys. Come on, get your consumerism on, you know? Have a great day, Lois. Thanks for chiming in. I'm going to let you have a moment, actually, and I will be returning in a moment.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is the nature of things. And the nature of things is that when we focus on what we actually want and we feel it as if it's right now, it's already happened, because these are all just potentials in the field. So a lot of people have known this, and a lot of this kind of information has been kept from us because they want to make sure that we are unaware, that we stay in fear and we stay in survival mode, because when you're in survival mode, you can't focus on anything other than surviving. So this is where they've wanted to keep us and humanity at in terms of state for a very long time. But when we actually break out of this and understand and know that we are very powerful manifestors, and depending on who you talk to, I've heard some people say that they have actually taken humans, they have taken humans elsewhere because we are powerful manifestors. They do not, or others maybe, I don't know. That's another story or another discussion. Don't have that capacity to manifest. So they bring us in as manifestors to be able to do that. So because we're such powerful manifestors, think about this logically now. In all of the movies and all of the shows on TV and all of the world events and all of the discussions about Torah codes and prophecies and all this kind of stuff, the more that becomes in our collective awareness, the higher likelihood it is for this to actually become reality for us. Because in the end, we create our own reality. I remember seeing recently actually a channeler that was answering a question of some guy in the audience. And he was saying, well, what do we do about all this, blah, 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 blah. He says, don't focus on it. When you remove your attention from that which they are trying to get your attention on, and you start focusing on something else, then something else can be your reality. It's just a fact.
I'm back.
So here we are.
Here we are.
So what do we want instead, folks? What do we truly want instead?
I didn't hear all that, but yes, I see something about manifesting and
because we get what we focus on. So think about this. Here's a continuation to the teaching moment, because I'm going to introduce a concept right now that is, get close. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Okay, here we go.
So I'm going to introduce a concept to you, and it's called towards and away from.
Yes.
Okay, because this concept of towards and away from relates specifically to what we focus our energy on. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use right now the example of money. Because money or prosperity, however you want to frame it in your mind, is something that affects everyone's life, really. And that's just a fact.
Yep.
Some people have it, some people don't. Some people can make it, some people can spend it, etc. All of the above. Right? But think about this, because you have a dichotomy here. One is wealth and one is poverty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Wealth and poverty.
Two ends of the spectrum.
Two complete ends of the spectrum in this context. So most of us are focused on the poverty side of things. Okay, I'm going to address Mary Ann's comment right there.
Mary Ann.
We're going to have something to say about this. All right.
Ooh, I'm putting that on.
I'm
the
glad
screen.
you put that up. But think about this for a second. Most of us, right, and I'm not speaking for you specifically, but a lot of humanity is focused on moving away from poverty. Okay, away from poverty. So if poverty's over here, you're trying to move away from poverty. So what that does is that guides behavior.
Okay, so this is poverty right here.
That's poverty.
Poverty, my hand. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's get rid of that.
So where do you want to go? You want to go towards prosperity, right? Or wealth, whatever your frame of reference is. Here's what happens is that if you're focusing on poverty and moving away from it, what ends up happening is that the further you get away from that which you don't want, meaning poverty, the more comfortable and relaxed you become. Okay. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I got some money in the bank. Now I can breathe a little bit. I can relax. You know, I'll buy a new iPad, or I'll, you know, cell phone, go out for dinner, whatever. Maybe go on a trip, buy a car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now what happens is, as these behaviors happen because you're now comfortable, is you start to move back and poverty becomes more in focus. So it's like,
right here.
Oh, I'm getting close to there. So now I got to work harder. Or
Feeling the
sell
pinch.
something. Oh, I got to
Feeling
work
the
backwards.
pinch. Poverty.
But what happens when you change your focus and turn 180 degrees? Okay.
Where prosperity is.
And focus on prosperity as opposed to. So now what's happening is you're moving towards prosperity.
You're still moving away from what you don't want.
Right. But that's over there.
Yeah. But you're actually turned around.
You're moving now towards
changing your focus.
Prosperity by changing your focus.
Yeah.
So when we deal with these ideas and these beliefs that money is the root of all evil, guess what? Guess what, folks?
Guess what you're manifesting
Guess what you're manifesting in your life?
Yeah. It's okay, because lots of people have that
belief. A lot of people had it.
It's a very collective belief.
It's a classic religious program.
Yeah. Well, it's a mind
It's the root of all evil, so give it to us.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we have to be very clear on what we're focusing on, because when we shift our focus that 180 degrees to point towards and move towards what we want, then we can achieve it, because it changes behavior.
See, here's the thing. And of course, we're talking about it in the money context. This is the same in every context out there. Okay. But in this respect, right? If you believe money is the root of all evil, well, are you going to want money ever? Like, are you going to go and like want to be prosperous? Well, no, because then you will be.
Because then you'll be evil.
You'll perceive yourself as being evil, right?
Imagine that.
That having money means you're evil, which is not true. It's not true at all.
See,
so
money is just a tool.
Money is just a tool.
It's simply a tool.
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
And all of these constructs, which is what they really are.
Yeah.
The more energy we give these constructs, the more they perpetuate.
And you're right, Marianne. The government does have ways of trying to stop people from prospering. There's no question.
100%. Because they want to be the ones.
That's right. That's right. They don't want the people to be prosperous and abundant and self-sufficient and independent of them, because then what? And
Marianne, we're not saying that you believe that you are evil.
No.
The problem here is when these societal beliefs flow through society.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Our psyche is preset to this. Okay. Our psyche is preset to this. So if that's lingering, and this is all unconscious,
deeply unconscious.
Yeah. Because we've all grown up with this kind of programming. What am I, the Rockefellers?
Yeah.
You know, or money doesn't grow on trees, and you know, etc. It's like, choose your belief, like, or multiple beliefs.
Like, you can't be humble and be wealthy at the same time.
That's a belief.
That's a belief. Like, you can't be be humble.
If I'm to be spiritual, I have to be poor.
Yeah.
Poor equals spiritual.
Yeah.
Poor equals religious. Poor equals benevolent. Poor, like, think about it.
Yeah.
Right? This is the bullshit.
Yeah.
That society and people have been programmed with for a very long time.
And trust us, like we're saying, like, we used to have these programs too. Like, we really did. Like I like I've told you guys before, I grew up, like, we were very comfortable, right? We weren't billionaires by any stretch of the imagination, but we were comfortable, right?
But now think about this as an example.
I had the belief that my experience of money growing up was people with money were
You were
miserable,
miserable.
right? And people had to sacrifice so much in order to be wealthy, and including their relationships and their family time and their, fill in the blank, right? They were just unhappy because they were stressed all the time and they were just like constantly working. And to me, it was just too much of a sacrifice. To me, it was like money equals you have to sacrifice everything, right? You have to sacrifice everything good, it seems, in the world, right? So I grew up with this belief too, that people with money are miserable. And even the people around us that seem to have all the money, they didn't seem to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Alcoholics, cheating on their spouses. I mean, just not happy people. And I was like,
so what examples
I don't want to be like that.
Right?
Right.
Guess what?
And I wasn't like that.
But this is the introspection. This is about thinking what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Start thinking about what you're thinking about, because when you get into these deep unconscious kind of layers,
yeah,
right? Like I work with a guy in Vancouver who was a therapist, and he had issues around prosperity, wealth, and money, because a lot of therapists out there and people that are offering healing services feel that they need to give everything away, or they feel ashamed to ask for compensation for what they do.
Yeah, for their healing type
services. Like, think about this.
Yeah.
Anyway, like when I work with him, he had like a dozen negative beliefs about
limiting paradigms
about money, wealth, prosperity, etc.
Yeah.
And looking really closely at the list, he believed them all to be true.
Yeah.
And things like money is the root of all evil and stuff were on that list.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And that's what he was focused on.
So it's what you end up focusing on, even at an unconscious level.
Yeah.
Right? You might be able to make money.
Yeah.
Right? But because this unconscious mind is running the show, right, you're going to repel it, and it's going to whatever it's going to do.
And because he believed money was evil and that he couldn't be spiritual and have money, right? He kept focusing on that. So he was moving away from that all the time with his behaviors. And part of his behaviors was he undervalued his services. He didn't charge enough for his services, so he wasn't surviving very well at all.
So what are you projecting out?
Giving away to the point that it was detrimental to his own well-being. Right? And we've done it. Hello, we're guilty. We've definitely done it.
Holy crap.
We've definitely done it. Yeah.
So anyway, we found 2 out of that list of 12 that appeared to be the major ones. I called those the linchpins. We pulled those in a process, and the rest of it come crashing down, no longer to be true.
Well, that's because we got to the root cause,
which were the root causes
the deep structure.
So this is the shit underneath the water, of the iceberg, right?
Yeah. But it works the same. This is not just about money, you guys. It's just an example, and it's an easy example to use. But here's another one. What about health? Right?
It doesn't matter the context.
Yeah.
Choose the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pick the context.
When we're like, for instance, I grew up in the 80s. Even though I was a kid, I was around the older generation that was always like calorie counting and constantly focused on got to do my Jane Fonda exercises. Got to make sure I lose that weight. So really,
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. So when you think about it, what are you focused on? I got to lose the weight. So what are you focused on? You're focused on I'm too fat, right? Or I'm not as small as that woman on television right there that I want to look like, right? So you're focusing on what you don't want, which is the extra fat on your body. So you're moving away from that. So I'm going to diet. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to work out. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do all these things. And here's what happens. You get far enough away from what you don't want that you go, oh, I'll
get comfortable.
I'll eat that popcorn tonight. I'll have that chocolate bar. That'll be okay.
Nah, I don't feel like going to the gym today.
I don't want to go. It's okay. And what happens? Women, this. You go right back to having that extra fat on your body, having that extra weight back. And it's like this springboard, back and forth, right? Yo-yo dieting, they called it, I do believe. Yeah. Been there, done that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's just another example of because you're focusing on what you don't want Instead of if we just turned around, and I've had to go through this process, honestly, big time. I turned around and focused on what I wanted, which is optimal health. Right? I wanted that's why I declared the other day on my TikTok, I declared I am going to be the fittest I've ever been in my life. I am going to damn well do it, and there's nothing going to stop me now. Like seriously, I can hear the song playing in my head. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm doing, and I've made up my mind, and I'm doing it, right? Because I'm focused on the optimal health part, being fitter than I've ever been in my life, instead of going, well, I don't want this extra fat on my body, and I wish that my legs didn't have some cellulite in them, and I just, I don't like the way I look, and I don't love myself. Really, that's what we're saying. I don't love the way I look. I hate what and I'm sitting in the mirror like bashing myself. What am I focusing on? What I don't want, right? So I turned it around, and I'm like, I'm focusing on what I want, and I just really want to be fit for the first time in my life, like super fit, like more fit than I've ever been. I want muscles, man.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, we get what we focus on. So if we're going to put our attention onto what we don't want and say, oh my God, like what the heck?
Yeah.
Guess what? We're adding that energy into that to perpetuate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now is the time. And I would say it's relatively urgent.
It is urgent, right? Actually.
I would say that it's fairly urgent.
Yeah.
That we start to come together. All right.
Yeah.
We start to come together with a vision for the future that we can all be proud of to leave to future generations.
Yeah.
Okay. So how would, or why would now, or when would now be a good time to start focusing on what we want and turn the 180 degrees and start moving towards what we want. Right?
Yeah. You're right, Krista. Age of Aquarius, baby. Kevin's all proud because he's Aquarius, right?
Damn right.
We're in the Aquarian age. Here we go.
The thing is, though, is that it's going to take, and I know we're over the tipping point. We're well over the tipping point.
Sounds like something's leaking.
Well, I mean, we got a lot of rain right now, but
holy crap.
Anyway, so we're past the tipping point, I believe, because when you do the math, there's actually scientific math out there that is proven that it actually takes, and there's a Margaret Mead quote, and I believe I said it last time, that never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So I believe that we did the square root of 1% of any population can actually put their intentional energy into the field and help to shift that.
And they've proven this.
They've proven this mathematically.
This is not conspiracy theory.
No, we can take the hat off.
We can take our tinfoil hats off.
Experts agree.
Yeah, the science is
trust the
has
science.
Shown.
The
science has shown that this actually works. This is actually true. Yeah.
So why don't we do that? Let's focus on what we want.
Well, better than one person, Marianne. We need a bunch of people.
The square root of 1%. So let's do the math on 8 billion.
Yeah.
Square root of 1% of 8 billion is just under 9,000 people. 9,000.
For the whole world?
For the whole friggin' planet.
That should be easy.
I think we're there. I think we're well past that. Now the challenge is
we have to get focused on what we want.
Right.
Not keep moving away from what we don't want. Okay. I guess maybe my title for today, Reason, a Season, or a Lifetime, probably wasn't the best choice. Maybe it's a little off, but still, it doesn't matter. It's just a title. The thing is that this is why we're talking about this towards and away from, right? So for the last 4 years, because, it's easy to refer to the last 4 years and the bullshit that we all have experienced.
But it's been going on a while.
It's been going on long before this past 4 years. Mm-hmm. But let's face it, the past 4 years is when a lot of us went, what the actual fuck is going on here, right? So,
which has been good.
Yeah.
Because it's needed a jolt like that. And typically people need a scare or something in order to course correct.
You're touching me, so I'm getting hot now.
Well,
Yeah.
You thought you were going to be cold. What can I
Well,
say?
I'll have to take this off now, I guess. Anyway, the point is that
And Marianne, it's still going on, yes, but we're not focusing on that, are we, anymore?
right.
Let's create the new.
That's the thing. Like, let's not get all caught up with all these what the politicians are saying. I don't give a shit what Trump is saying, honestly. You know, like the hell with Trump, you know. I don't really care if the UN and along with
You watch, there's a bait and switch coming.
yeah, there's probably going to be a bait and switch. I
Because
mean,
they're all, it's
honestly,
a uni party. They're all playing on the same team. So.
yeah, like
The
you know,
question is, do we need that program anymore? What do we want instead? I know for me, and I've said this in front of audiences before, 200-300 people, is that I just want to be in charge of myself. What if we were just in charge of ourselves?
oh, there's Jade. Jade's piping in. People
Right.
need to understand legal is not lawful,
Yes.
and we are humans with human rights, not persons. A person is
That's
just
right.
playing a part in their legalese of words while
Mhm.
you give up your human rights, acting in their game of entrapment and fraud. Absolutely, Jade. We're aware of all that.
100%.
Yeah.
See, and this is where, we have to get empowered.
Yeah.
But we also have to still create the vision of what we want.
Yes. We still have to be
move
focused
towards
on what we
that.
want.
Yes.
And I think, honestly, Kevin and I have talked about this ad nauseum, and I'm sure any of you watching this, you probably
sick and tired
have,
of hearing the same.
but you've probably done the same, right? Like, what are we going to do? But what do we do instead? Like, what's the solution? Right. And I know people like David Icke. I love David Icke. His whole solution is stop complying. He's been saying the same thing all along. Just don't
Same
go
with
along.
Chris Guy.
Yeah.
Just say
just
no.
say no, right? I mean, just don't comply, don't comply, don't comply. Okay. That's, yep, I get it. But unless we don't comply en masse,
And that's the key.
it's going to be a little more difficult
That's
in
the
order to
key.
make the real shift on a physical level, right? It is, let's face it. So we need to get to a place where we have a shared vision of the future that we can all focus on. And it doesn't have to be that every single little detail of the future, we all have to agree on it. No, but we can have a broad general vision of what we want in the future collectively. And then what if we all meditated on that? Really?
Envisioned and embodied.
Yeah.
That.
Like truly brought that into our awareness, and felt with every cell in our body that that's what we are creating.
Okay, so I think that would be powerful. I want to expand on Jade's comment, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that when you truly step into your living power, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you truly step into that and really grasp the idea that everything that they do in the legal side of things,
yeah,
none of it, right? And you can do the reason, none of it applies to the living, breathing man or woman.
Yeah.
None of it.
We're aware of this.
It's only in our acquiescence when we join the living to the legal corporate dead fiction that we give it value and teeth. Okay?
Yeah.
So think about this. A person, which is what all of these bills and statutes and all that bullshit applies to, is your friggin' driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
It's your corporation, and you are not the corporation.
But here's how it's really affecting you, I would say, emotionally.
It's affecting you emotionally, because you end up focusing on it. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
They're doing this.
Right.
And we do it. Like, trust me, we have little, what the hell are they doing? And then we go, oh, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to focus on that.
Yeah.
Because we're going to focus on what we actually want.
So here's a case, right? So here's an example of how this works. Prior to marijuana legalization, which was the government tax grab on the product,
Yeah, that's really what it
All right.
was. Control of it.
And why do you think the government was always at war with the mafia? Because they were running alcohol, right?
Mhm.
The government wanted, I mean,
It's competition.
they're the biggest like
Drug
mafia on the planet is these people.
Yeah,
And it's just a fact.
it is.
But prior to legalization, and we say legalization specifically because it was to set regulations in place, we were in BC. And in BC, there were cannabis stores everywhere. Beautiful, clean, professional,
Yeah.
like knowledgeable people,
Surprisingly.
cops standing outside,
That was a new world for us being in
talking to
Vancouver. We're
people.
like,
No
"Oh."
one gave a shit.
I remember walking down the main street in Vancouver. Which street was that? The one that Shuey's on. Burrard, was it? Anyway.
Oh, the one that Shuey is on?
Yeah.
That was Davies.
Davies, yeah. So we used to live on Davies. I should have known that. But anyway, we were walking down the Davies, and I remember looking over and seeing a cannabis store right there on the main street. Nothing's being hidden, right? And this
Right
before
there. Beautiful, clean.
before legalization, right? And there was a cop just standing there just because he just happened to stop there, and he was just standing there looking around, talking to people, whatever. And I was like, how is it that there's a cannabis store right there? It's illegal, supposedly,
Right?
And there's a cop standing there, doesn't give a flying kahooey whether or not that cannabis store is there and it's illegal and people are going in and out and there's no issues. How is that happening? And I remember that it was actually someone who was from Eastern Europe or Russia, somewhere over there, right, from a communist country, who said that laws are only laws as long as the people are willing to comply to them. So laws are not laws when the people decide they're not going to follow them.
So think about this
and
for a second.
I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
But think about this for a second. If the government, the control mind people, passed an act, and it was called the Everyone Must Wear a Mr. Dress Up cardigan on Thursday afternoons. And the fine was, if you didn't wear the Mr. Dress Up cardigan on Thursday afternoons, you would go to jail. Think about this.
Would you do it?
Would you do it? Right? What would everyone do?
They would
sit back.
That's ridiculous.
They would sit back and say,
I'm not doing
that is the stupidest shit ever. We ain't doing it. Guess what?
It wouldn't work.
Law doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it would go away because it'd be like, oh shit,
right?
We can't get them to do it. Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the point.
Look at this. I love what Jade's saying here. Yeah.
Oh, we got some Men in Black stories. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jade saying, I did a documentary in 1996 with David Icke when I worked with Global TV. Ooh, the bad boys. Mainstream media. Men in Black came in, took the tapes. It created a big in-house conspiracy and was a cover-up. Absolutely.
Imagine that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the point is,
I have deep respect for David Icke because he was definitely one man against the world in a lot of ways.
But think about this. Like
really
yeah. This is where things are at.
It is. You guys, listen.
I know we're preaching to the choir, but there's going to be other people that come on this and look at this later.
Yeah.
Right. And then be like,
Okay. So here's the thing. We could go on and on and on. Of course, as you know, this is what we do. But what I'm interested in, honestly, and please put it in the comments. Like I so wish. We'll see them. We'll either see them now or later because they don't all come through, unfortunately. But I really genuinely want to know. Like I so wish we were in a situation where you guys could come on camera. Like this is something we're gonna have to work on.
No, we got to do a big Zoom.
Yeah, like do a big Zoom together so that we can actually converse back and forth in that way. But what I want to know from you guys watching, seriously, I want to know this. What do you see for the future of humanity? What is your vision for what we could do instead, for what we could focus on instead? Because this isn't the Eva and Kevin show. We've said this lots of times. We're just two people here, right? just trying to have some conversations and
Okay,
get
so
people talking.
need to address
So-
this. I really do, right? I really do, and I appreciate your input. However, this one thing really bugs me, and I think we have to move beyond it.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's what we focus on, and intent behind what we give language.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of people that are into this common law stuff and the fraud, and it's all true.
Yeah.
And the word trickery and get 100%.
We get it.
we friggin' get it. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
However, having been a former cop,
Yeah.
okay, and had to go to court and all this other stuff, I get the charade.
Till I rescued him.
You know what? I get the charade. Okay, so think about this very carefully.
Yeah.
It is the intention behind our use of language. So if we all of a sudden start learning Sanskrit, okay, in order to move away from what this language has been
English.
and has ended up being, okay, then let's go and do that.
Yeah.
Just decide, right? We all want to move towards Sanskrit because it's a pure language. It's one of the originals.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
It hasn't been bastardized.
If I'm a cop on the side of the road, or I'm a judge in the courtroom, and I say to someone that's in front of me, do you understand?
Yeah.
That has intention to entrap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if we are just talking as friends, which I'd like to think we are.
Yeah.
And I say, do you understand that? Do I have any intention with the use of that language
To harm you.
to A, harm you, B, entrap you?
No.
Okay? Etc. So I really think we have to put our energy now
Yeah.
into focusing on using language with integrity,
Mhm.
as opposed to focusing on what I don't want, which is the topic of our entire discussion here,
Mhm.
and keeping that what I don't want alive.
Yeah.
All right? So trust me, I get it. I've been down this road over 10, 12 years ago,
Yeah.
right? We know, but when people get bent,
We were interviewing people 10 years ago
oh yeah,
about this
do
stuff. Yeah.
we were, seriously.
Yeah. Like we get it. We
But
truly
when we
do.
get bent, when we put all our energy
Yeah.
into focusing on what we don't want about the way things were,
Yeah.
right? We can't spend any energy on focusing on moving towards what we actually do want.
Yeah.
I want. So this is a very common form of communication. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
Do we know? Could we agree that we know that it's been used to coerce and trap, etc.? Yes.
Sure.
100%.
In the old paradigm.
Right?
But if we want to continue to stay there in that old programming,
Guess what?
in that old paradigm, in that old system that was controlled by word trickery and things like that, then to me, then have at her, you
Go
know,
for
be offended by people using the word people or understand or whatever.
Mhm.
Or I think what Kevin's trying to say, right, is we can actually choose to not buy into that shit anymore. Not put any
And
more
come to the
energy
table with integrity
into any of that
and
old
honor
stuff, right?
and trust.
And move. If you're in, like Kevin said, if you're in a court, if you're standing in front of a judge,
Or the cops beside you on the side of the
but
road.
if you're standing in front of a judge, you might want to be aware of that stuff, and you might want to. You probably wouldn't be in a courtroom if you were, but maybe you would be, right?
Mhm.
Some people are, and they try to use it,
Mhm.
you know, to this understanding of understanding, right? This comprehension, this knowledge of this information, right? So the way that we see it is that we want to be stuck in that old paradigm. Our choice personally, like this is us, and you don't have to agree. It's okay if you don't want to. But where we're at in our I'll say personal evolution, or in our stage of growth, I would say, and this isn't a judgment about anything. Please do not, this is not a hierarchy, okay? It's not a competition. But where we're at, we say we aren't going to do that anymore. We aren't going to follow along with that old paradigm, that old belief system, that old system, period, that was used to harm us. It was used against us, unbeknownst to us, although, right? Very unbeknownst to us.
That's right.
So we are choosing to not focus on what we don't want, which is all that old shit, and we are turning around and we are focusing on what we want. And in doing that, what Kevin and I, because we've talked about this ad nauseum, trust me, and we've talked about this with people who are experts in this common law stuff. We have interviewed people, we have talked to so many people who are doing this, okay, who have done it, right? It's a lot of work.
Who run courses on it.
Yeah, it's a lot to
But here's
learn.
the deal.
It truly is. But the way that we see it is by focusing on what we want, right? Now and in the future, we don't have to play into that old paradigm anymore.
Right.
So the word people, when we use it, it's not offensive. It's not meant to be offensive. It's not, when we say understand, we're not saying we stand over you when we're talking to you, or you're standing under us.
There's no intention there.
None of that is there.
So here's the thing. Is that until we get ourselves, unless we're all going to instantly be downloaded with light language and start talking telepathically, right? Unfortunately, right now we have to use frames of reference in order to get us through this transition. We have to. Right. So when we use a frame of reference in terms of this is my language of communication, and I show up in honor, in truth, and in integrity, then and other people do the same thing, then we know that the communication is truthful, honorous, and integrous between these people, or individuals, or members, or humans. I know you can't say human now, right? So here's the thing. Take the knowledge of what was, stand that knowledge of what was
empower us,
should put you in your power. As a living man or woman. Okay, that should put you in your power, and know deeply that the way things were is shifting. So we have to be in a state of being able to receive what's coming in terms of the new. So when we shift our energy into truth, honor, integrity, and love, and still able to communicate in a way that's very common. Right?
So we're not speaking in a different language to people who just don't get it. Who don't.
Because if I learn language right now and I started talking to you, you'd shut me off because you wouldn't understand a goddamn thing of it. Right?
So we need to.
So I think we have to change our perception of what was. Focus on where we want to go for starters,
and allow ourselves the time to go through this transition. Right? It's a process. Listen, guys, you're talking to the gal here who did the 37-day water only fast. Okay. It's a really fast way to drop weight, to detoxify your system, get those parasites unhinged, unhooked. Trust me. Like, it's a powerful process, but I'll tell you what, it's also harsh. It is very harsh.
It's a sledgehammer approach.
It is a sledgehammer approach, and it can actually cause more harm sometimes when you do things in that extreme way. It's kind of like Penny Kelly was saying when we were watching that interview with her last night, right? She talked about how she got the sledgehammer over the head with her Kundalini awakening. We are not always ready for that to happen. Just boom, right? It can cause so much harm. It has killed people because it's just too much all at once. So we've realized, right, through our own process, through our own, experiences, and what we've seen in other people that we work with and people that we know, it's just sometimes that sledgehammer approach is not the answer, and we need to just kind of just move through the muck, just kind of wade through the muck together, right? Still learning, still growing, gaining that knowledge, move through it with that information that's there, with that awareness that all that stuff that Jade, that you've talked about, that Marianne's mentioned, I mean, it's all there. We're not denying it. Okay. We're not trying to move away from it, right? It's almost like we're embracing it. We're embodying it. It's like, yep, that was part of our history. that was part of what the old system was, but we're not going to operate
Well,
in
what
that
do you want
system
instead?
anymore. Yeah. So we're just focusing on what we want instead.
What do you want instead?
That's all. That's it.
But unless we go into a silent monastery and try and figure it out,
Yeah.
just by,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So trust me, I would love for us to just go from where we were to where we want to be. Like,
without
boom,
question.
quantum leap everything, and we're there.
So
5D, yay!
So take the knowledge of the
You know?
past, the knowledge of the shenanigans,
Yeah.
the knowledge of all the coercion and the control and the slavery, and take all of that knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, harness it and make it your power.
Alchemize it.
Right? Alchemize it
into
and turn around. Fucking turn around. And move towards what you want. Okay?
That sounds good. Go for it, Jade.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Everybody's going to do it in their own
way. 100%.
Yeah. We're not
But
judging.
take it.
Trust me. You have a good day too. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Actually. Yes.
It's very important
We love
conversation.
Mexico. We lived for almost a whole year in Mexico recently. So it's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the
take
thing.
it, harness it,
Yeah.
alchemize it, realize what it actually was or is. We're in transition. We're moving towards what we want.
Yeah.
Right. And the more of us that can do that, right, while letting go of the anger that the knowledge of that usually creates in people when they first become aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move towards what we want.
Okay,
folks.
so I asked the question a little while ago, like, what do you want instead? Well, Jade just said what she wants. Her new system is hanging out and surfing in Mexico. Excellent.
Brilliant.
Yeah, if you're doing that and you're living in joy, then you are doing a great service to the planet. You are.
Yeah.
You're doing a great service to yourself, and you're doing
That's
great
right,
service
because
to
that's
the
the
planet.
energy now that comes into the system.
That's right.
Into the entire energetic realm that is of planet Earth and beyond.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. So it's really just, we know that politicians don't work for us. What do you think will work instead?
What do you want instead?
If you don't want politicians running the show,
what do you want instead?
Who's going to run the show?
Now we're not saying, please, like, know this deeply, is we're not saying that we don't. People, humans, persons, whatever you want to call us.
Yeah.
Entities, beings, individuals. I don't care what language you use.
Yeah.
I think right now, because we're not all at a stage where we can be in charge of ourselves, we need some structure moving forward.
Yeah. We believe that we need some
structure. It's the nature of the structure that we can manifest.
But who's going to create it?
The people, persons, individuals, entities, beings, whatever you want to call yourself, can create the new way.
Yes, we do need to be at the table, Marianne. That is absolutely true. Okay.
But the square root of 1%.
Yeah. And you're right. It all starts within us. Nothing happens without us. And it all starts in us. It starts in here.
Right. So if you're sitting in this
minefield bubble right here.
If you're sitting in there and you're continuing to worry about the way they are doing things, right? Guess what you're going to get? You get what you worry about because you're focused on trying to move away from that which you don't want.
And trust me, you guys, we have moments. We have little glitches.
I mean, everyone gets like,
oh, that's so stupid.
Shaking your head and scratching or whatever.
Jeez, honestly, swear to God, like, what the hell? Like, let's just go escape to the Amazon or something, right? But I mean,
we'll go surfing, Jade. Yeah,
really though. But the thing is that we come out of it and then we go, well, what do we want instead? We just got to focus on what we want. We can get mad at Trudeau all we want. He's just a damn puppet. So, I mean, if it's not Trudeau, is it going to be Chrystia Freeland? Right? It's like, is it going to be Pierre Poilievre? Like, do we really believe that Pierre Poilievre is going to be the answer for this country?
Two cheeks of the same
No,
ass.
They all work for the same people. People, entities, aliens, I don't care what you call them. They're all working for the same institutions, right? The same cult. right? Oh, I just got kicked off YouTube by saying that.
Called.
But yeah, so I mean, the reality is that this is the reality. So what do we want instead? I still haven't seen, besides Jade telling us what she's doing with her new system, like you guys aren't sharing in the comments what your new vision for the future is. And I would say maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's because you don't have one
If we are not active participants
in this process.
We are going to be complacent participants.
Well, we're going to be victims of whatever we get. We're going to be victims of whatever they decide for us.
Aha, Lori, common sense ain't too common, you know. Right?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
The Department of Common Sense.
Yeah.
And it'll be right beside the door. That's the Department of the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah. Really though, right? So I mean,
what do we want instead, folks? It's just what we have to turn around.
Listen, there's already people that are going to be on the front lines fighting, right? Like I talked to a good friend, and if I said her name, you guys would all know her, but I mean, it was a personal conversation. But I mean, she's a warrior, right? And she's prepared. She's like, I might just have to step up and
tear this thing down.
Like I might just have to start the revolution in this country because someone's going to fucking lead it. And it's true. I know for a lot of you, there's people that really do believe the word leader even is a bad word. It's not a bad word. When you're associating it to politicians, then yeah, it might feel like a bad word.
When the alien is standing in front of you
right?
and asks the question or says, take me to your leader, what do you do?
Leader or leadership is not an evil, bad thing.
It's the intention we give it, right, folks?
It is the intention we give it. What's the great quote that we just heard from David Martin the other day?
Is until the ego is eclipsed by your morals, you cannot lead.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So there are benevolent leaders, you guys. Leaders that truly know, they understand, right? They get that there's still a large portion of the population does need guidance, does need leadership. Like this is just a psychological fact. This is part of what we teach in our own trainings. You know, this is what we learned in our training, and it's true. And we witnessed it working with hundreds and thousands of clients, you guys, is that probably half, I mean, we might be a little bit more into the to the other side of it now, but on 40, my guess would be 40 to 50% of the population easily is still dependent on some kind of leadership, on somebody to kind of tell them where to go. Like I see it every day, even on social media.
Because they're not ready to take charge themselves.
That's right.
And right? Because they're not in the right place.
Yeah.
Inside, and that's okay.
Yeah, and not everybody's even going to come along, and that's fine too. Everybody's on their own journey, right? Everybody's in their own place in themselves, in their own growth, in their own evolution, and whatever, right? So, I mean, the thing is that there still is a need for structure and leadership and things like that, and so we want to help create that. That's what we're putting our focus on. Like my friend who thinks she's going to have to get this revolution going in the country, I say, you go for it, baby. Like I'll support you, right? I'm all for it, but I'm not going to be the one that's going to be physically at the front lines leading that charge, because I know that I've done that.
This is metaphorical.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Totally.
Metaphorical, because we need to make the shift in here.
Yeah.
Right? Before anything can happen out there.
Yeah.
Anything. So when we shift in here, and we learn to focus and intend to focus on moving towards what we want instead of, then let's get busy, folks.
Yeah.
But it can't happen out here. And what happens is we always focus on what's going on out here. What's the wrong bullshit that's going on out there? What's happening out there? Oh, it's the politicians, it's the acts, it's the language, it's the taxes, it's the fill in the blanks. And now what we've done is we've dropped our energy down.
Yeah.
to focus on all of these trees instead of knowing that we're moving out of the forest here
And being stuck in victimization.
and we're stuck in victimization because, oh, there's nothing we can do.
Which
They
is
just keep doing
hopelessness.
it. Ah.
Right? Which is hopelessness, which is a low frequency, by the way, very low frequency.
Right? Just
Yeah.
turn the fuck around.
Yeah.
Create the vision for the future and move towards it.
And let's focus on it. Let's meditate on it. Like we could start a collective meditation, but we got to create the vision first.
So there actually is a vision that's already created.
Yeah, there is.
Right? That would be very pleasurable to a lot of people. So if you go on Kevin and Ava or the Kevin and Ava thing on
Kevin and Ava channel on YouTube.
Right? Under
Yeah.
playlist, there is a Change the World Timeline meditation
That Kevin created back
I created
in 2020.
almost 5 years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Marianne, you bring up a very good, interesting point, and we could chat about this for literally ever.
Yeah, we know that stuff is true.
Is that all the resources of planet Earth, we're all owners in that.
Yeah.
We own 1/8 billionth of the resources of this planet. It's not that ethnicity that owns it. It's not our ethnicity that owns it. It's not the government that owns it. It's not anybody. We all are owners and we are all responsible.
Yep.
We are all shareholders in this planet. Okay. And that's it.
But do you think they're just going to hand it over to us if we don't have some kind of collective shared vision of a different future than what they want to create
what do
for
we
us?
want instead, folks?
They're not going to hand it over to a bunch of people that are just scrambling and all over the place. And well-intentioned as people may be, like even during this whole freedom movement thing, during the COVID bullshit, let's face it, people splintered off. People were divided. People weren't necessarily united.
Until the ego is eclipsed by the morals.
Yeah.
Your morals. You cannot lead.
Yeah.
And typically what we've seen,
Yeah.
oh, he pissed me off, therefore I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make
start
my
my
own
own group.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Marianne, they didn't steal it from the people.
The people let it happen because we were
Right?
ignorant.
We let it happen. But the thing is, it wasn't anyone's to steal.
Yeah.
This is the point. Thing is, it belongs to all of us.
Sure.
So if it belongs to all of us, including them as people or individuals or persons, whatever you want to call it, technically speaking,
Evil dudes.
right? They're 1/8 billionth. Right.
We just see that there's a lot of people that talk about what's wrong, you know, and we
got to
it.
stop talking about what's wrong because we all friggin' know what's wrong.
Yeah, we get those are the facts. Like we get the facts, we get all of it, you know, we get that. But us personally, this is the direction we want to go in. I mean, it doesn't mean we're not going to bring up these facts and we're not going to discuss these things. Like, hey, you want to talk like the dangers of vaccinations, of all vaccinations? Like
the real question, Marianne, the real question is, do we need a piece of paper? Do we need a piece of paper to give us anything? Especially what we could consider rights to exist on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one answer to that question if you're standing in your truth, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we got to focus on what we want, folks.
Yeah, and we just preached again today. Like Kevin is, I told him 18 years ago he was going to be a spiritual teacher. So here we go. Right. So yeah. I mean, what's it going to take?
What will it take?
You know, maybe that's the real question here. What's it going to take to get people to finally see that we all need to get to this place where we are?
Well, we don't all need to.
We don't all
Square
need
root
to.
of 1% needs to.
Well, this is true.
And we're well past that.
But we're not.
But we're
not doing a shared vision for the future.
Trust me, there's a lot of efforts right now to bring group meditations in.
Oh yeah.
And it needs to happen,
It's
and it is
good.
happening. So it's all adding this collective higher intentioned, like higher vision of what the future is into the collective energetic systems. Okay, it's all adding, and that's brilliant.
Yeah,
we just need to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to keep going.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right, and that's what happens. Is see, good example, Marianne. I'm going to put that on there because here's the thing: you just totally That's what it is right there. Here's that explains the towards and away from that we were talking about earlier, right? We get complacent when we move away from what we don't want. Then we start to get
The
complacent.
further away from what we don't
Further
want,
away from what we
the more
don't want,
relaxed
we get complacent. That's when we go, oh, I'll just eat that chocolate bar. I won't go to the gym today. Like I'll get off the government's back because COVID's done. There's no more talk about it.
Normal.
They're not making us wear masks, so it's okay. Like I'll just sit back and just go back to everyday life. And then guess what? Then we go right back to getting wait, what do you mean they're bringing in another virus? They're putting in another pandemic. What do you mean they're starting World War III? And we go, we got to move away from that. Here we go again. Just like an elastic band, stretch.
The accordion, I call it.
The accordion. Just back and forth, back and forth. That's right. So
yes, everything is moving into Aquarius, forced awakening. I love it.
Yeah.
We got a energetic sledgehammer coming down the pipe here.
Well,
and that's great.
And it's going to happen whether we want it or not. And there's probably going to be a lot of physical human bodies that are not going to be able to handle it, to be honest with you. Like, Penny Kelly claims that she got to see the future decades ago. And she said what she saw decades ago when she was shown this vision of the future is that there's a big die-off coming in 2025. Well,
it's begun. It's all begun.
It's
been happening.
It's been happening.
That's why they need wars.
Yeah. That's why they need pandemics. Right. But we could focus on that.
What do we want instead?
Or we could focus on what we want. So I still haven't seen people saying that what they see for the future. So
that's your homework.
Consider it. Like really sit.
You will enjoy. So the meditation that's on YouTube under our channel has two parts. One is an introduction to it because it's more or less of what we just discussed about focusing on what we want, right? And then the other one is the actual meditation.
There, Krista, I see community. Great. Yeah. That's a good start.
There's communities coming down the pipe here. They've already started forming.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community is a good thing.
So let's do it. We need everybody. We need all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm going to encourage people to join the Union of Humanity because this is our effort to try and bring people together.
Yeah.
Finally. Okay. Finally, please.
In the private.
Right. In the private, we need to be able to have these tough conversations in honor, truth, and integrity and love.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And if you find yourself saying, oh, well, that's pretty idealistic. And so therefore you're doubting that that's possible. Well, you got to get your head on straight because I'll tell you what, I'd much rather have an idealistic view of the future than be focusing on the future that they got planned for us and that they've been working on for millennia now and is like coming full into fruition if we don't get off our asses and do something. And you know what? Maybe the doing really is just this shared vision and meditating on it every single day. I'm like you, Krista. I see it happening too. And I do feel the urgency. I definitely do. I do. For it to happen.
We need to pull our fingers out of our asses or heads, whichever one suits you. Right. And I know most people that are watching this are in agreement with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Let's not do the dragging, kicking and screaming across the finish line thing. No. We need to come.
You can't force. You can't force. You can't force people to go along with this. That's why it's going to have to be up to us. Those of us who already are awake. Those of us who already are willing and did.
That's who we're talking to.
That's who we're talking to.
That's who we're talking to.
Okay. Those of us who aren't
come
willing,
together and figure it out.
That's okay. Those who aren't willing and are ignorant and want to stay in their comfort zones and don't want to face it. They want to be blind to everything. That's their choice.
Fine.
But guess what? Because of the numbers that we need, those of us, there's enough of us in the world who are awake that can create this change by focusing on this shared vision. That's what we're saying. And we know if you're on here, you're more awake. You're awake already. And you're probably like us. Your soul chose to come back here at this time, right? You chose to come back here at this time so that we could get this done. That's what I know for sure.
And maybe someone just showed up as a soul here to be a statistic.
Yeah. Send them love and wish them well.
That's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
No judgment anymore. It's really not. It's like, this is not the time to be condemning and judging others. And, it really, really isn't. So.
Because that keeps you stuck.
That's right. That's right. So this is
let's
the
do
time.
Something different.
This is the time for those of us who are there, who are at that same sort of place in their personal evolution. It's time for us to collectively come together globally and get this done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to do this. Like, I almost feel like I'm begging you. Like, I know, but it's just, let's do it. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not 100% sure how to move forward, except to just get people to share what their ideas are of a future. And maybe we can all come to some sort of general agreement on different aspects.
Well, you know what? So
I don't know.
So there's several different ways that we can have this conversation offline, or not offline, but outside of this, like live stream.
Yeah.
So
good.
What we need to do is wherever you are, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or on our websites or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Find a place, email, why don't we add our collective energy into do the meditation first? I'll say that. Because
learn the timeline process.
You'll probably be very pleased.
It is good.
I know, certainly from the conversations that's been going on the side here.
Yeah.
About that meditation. This is something I come up with almost 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So we are the change, but we have to believe and focus on what we want instead. So let's move towards what we want, towards and away from. Very powerful concept to get our heads into.
Yeah. The moving away from part is just what we, as humans, we have done this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And again, like we've said, please understand this. Yes, I'm using the word understand. Please get this, okay? I'm going to say it one more time before we go. When you're moving away from what you don't want, that pain point, okay, that thing that's causing the pain, when we move away and we get far enough away that we start to get comfortable and then we get complacent, remember, that's what happens is we start to just let ourselves kind of get a little
and let other people take over.
Yeah. And then we just start moving back toward. That's when you're focusing on what you don't want. Turn around. Please, let's all focus on what we want. Let's focus on what we want.
Again, do the meditation. I think everyone will enjoy it.
Kevin and Ava on YouTube. That's the channel. Mm-hmm. And it is under Change the World Meditation playlist.
Something like that,
yeah, you should find it in my playlist there. So Change the World Meditation. He did this 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And the goal date that was set in that timeline was for 2025. So we're coming upon 2025, you guys. Mm-hmm. It's coming fast. So go ahead and do that. And like we said, we do encourage, share it for sure. People who've done it love it. And we do encourage you to really get into the thought process of how you see the future, right? Start writing it down, really contemplating on this.
And wherever you could try and share it with us, because this is the discussion we have to have.
Yeah.
There's pockets of people here and there, we're a pocket, they're a pocket, whatever.
Yeah.
But we have to start sharing this as a collective vision. What do we want to see this future actually be so that we can actually experience it?
Yeah. But we got to experience it in ourselves first. So
I tell you, the Union of Humanity platform is a place to do that.
It is. That's the place where we can really openly talk about things without any concern about saying those wrong keywords, that
and maybe what I'll
social
do
media
just
doesn't
for
like.
Fun, I will create a group over there called Vision for the New World.
Yeah, we
can all be a part of it.
Yeah.
And put our visions. One condition. Mm-hmm. Let's all agree right now that we already know what we don't want.
Yeah.
Okay? So we don't want to
go on the
group and say, but what if blah, 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 blah. No.
Nope.
I envision hemp being a primary fiber resource for a multitude of things.
If we even need it in the new future, who knows?
I
right?
envision
Yeah.
the energies of planet Earth being balanced and grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These are visions.
Yeah. Focus on what you want.
Focus on what we want.
Okay. I might have to go in and change the title on our episode. That's okay. It's all good. Right?
All right.
Okay. So thank you for listening to us rant. Thank you for contributing to the conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
Brilliant.
And, yeah. So this is like a work in progress here, you
It is
guys.
constant.
It definitely is. This
Let's
it's a work in progress. We're all, doing the best we can with the resources that we have. And one resource that is unbelievably unlimited in every single human being on this planet is the unlimited potential, the unlimited availability of resources in our mind, in us. We are truly unlimited. Okay. So let's use that.
Get that in you.
You don't need no money for that one, you guys. You don't need no money in the bank to be able to use your mind in a positive way. Right. So let's do it. Let's do it together. You guys have a great day too. This is Tuesday, right?
All day.
Enjoy the rest of your week. And when we come back on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, on Friday, we'll share with you how our Wednesday night public presentation
But it also would
went.
be great to be able to have this discussion with saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Here's some suggestions that we just got.
Yeah.
All right. About what the new world should look like.
In the comments.
So do it.
Share it. We want to know, and share it with everyone else so they can see it too.
Yep.
Okay, that's enough. We gotta go. It's been an hour and a half. Thanks for being here. We love you guys and we appreciate you. And remember, kevinandava.com in order to sign up for our email outside of the social media platforms. Okay. So that's very, very important if you could do that. And let's keep talking. Hope to see you guys on Friday. Bye.